The year's 2015. I was a tiny 10-year-old boy watching the final Smash presentation, wondering who would be the last fighter for Smash 4. And as a kid, I thought, wow, this must be an extremely popular character. Maybe it's Ridley or K. Rool or even Banjo-Kazooie, but the character they gave us instead was...
Let's dance, boy.
What's a Bayonetta? Then in 2018, I was finally able to see who Bayonetta really was because they released Bayonetta 2 and 1 on Switch for the price of a single game. Amazing deal, right? I thought so too, so I decided to get it. But there was one problem. In 2018, I was a tiny 12-year-old boy. How could a tiny 12-year-old boy like me get an M-rated game? Well, I just decided to wing it, and the cashier didn't care that a child was buying an M-rated game, so I went home with my copy of Bayonetta 1 and 2. There was one more problem though. In 2018, I didn't have the best internet speed, so my download of Bayonetta took more than a few hours, and I didn't have that much time. I had school, I was impatient, so... like a tiny, dumb child, I decided to play Bayonetta 2 while waiting for the first download. And when I booted up the game and played for a few hours, I didn't get it. The feel of everything was so drastically different from everything I've played before. Why were they swearing? Video games shouldn't be swearing. Mario doesn't swear. Missing out on the lore and story from the first game didn't help at all, and I was just left confused. The gameplay didn't really jive with me either. I had a hard time grasping the combos, and I could never really get any witch times. And there were so many parts where you just had to mash your controller for no reason. I had fun mindlessly killing monsters sometimes, but I thought that was just it with the game, so... I decided to put down the game and played Minecraft, or whatever I did back in 2018. Now it's 2021, and hey look, I'm actually doing a decent job of finishing my video games for once. I was going down the list of what I needed to finish, and hey look, it's Bayonetta! I played Bayonetta 2 before, and it was kinda fun, so maybe I'll enjoy it and I'll finally get context for the story. Yeah, I'm like a year too young for this game, but that doesn't matter. ESRB ratings shouldn't matter when this game could potentially be a contender for one of your favorite games ever, and that's what it turned out being. Yeah, no, I'm serious. Usually in fighting games or games where there are a long list of commands, I remember just a couple of them and then begin to spam them. Like in Mortal Kombat, there's this girl who has a nutcracker move and haha, wow, that's pretty funny, I'll keep using it. So going into Bayonetta, I knew about the multitude of moves you could perform, but I thought I would just resort to mashing like usual. This was until I encountered a loading screen where you could control Bayonetta. It even showed a list of commands on the side. So I decided to try a couple combos and they felt really good to pull off. The loading screen became one of the most important features in the game for me, as it sort of awakened me to how fluid and satisfying the combat was. Each time I entered a loading screen, I practiced or tried out a new move. And hey look, I actually used them throughout the game instead of just mashing. Most moves are executed by a different combination of the punch and kick button, and yet you're able to use so many different types of moves together. It keeps the combat feeling really fresh throughout the hordes of enemies you encounter throughout the game. Maybe one time I'll use the slow sweep and lead that into another string to keep the combo going, or maybe I'll send them up into the air with this move. You can even shoot your guns in the middle of your combos, which I thought would be kind of pointless like it is in Smash Brothers. But no, I found myself really appreciating that extra damage you get from it. Along with your basic combat skills is one of the most satisfying dodges I've ever used in any video game I've played. When you dodge an attack at the last possible moment, Witch Time occurs, which slows down everything but you. This lets you pull off any combo you'd like on the slowed down opponents, and oh my god, it feels amazing. The fact that while you're pulling off a combo, you can cancel your attacks immediately with a dodge, and then start another one right after helps the flow of the combat feel extremely smooth. There are more than just your standard moves though. Bayonetta can pick up various weapons from enemies she's slain or buy them from a shop. A lot of these have unique animations and moves, and they're just as great as her main kit. One of my favorite weapons to pick up is this shotgun trumpet that literally one-shots most basic opponents. Bayonetta can also pull off various moves from quicktime events in the middle of a battle. There's this punch move you can use which just has you mash a button. It's pretty fun. But then there are the torture attacks, which still have you mashing a button, but these are joined with an animation. Some of these are pretty funny, but others are questionable. Both are extremely satisfying to pull off, and I found myself kind of relying on these later on because I'm not really that great at the combat, so whenever I got one of those, it was really exciting. Lastly, there are the Climax attacks, which are executed at the end of boss fights most of the time. Every time you pull one off, there's a unique animation for each boss getting attacked by one of Bayonetta's demons. Climax is a word that describes these really well, as the amount of satisfaction you get after pulling one of these off, added to the fact that you just beat a boss you might have been struggling with, is pretty great. The animations can get really absurd too, like this one where these hand demons play with this boss like a volleyball, or this other one where this monster is desperately clawing at the ground to save himself, but Bayonetta just smacks him into the demon's mouth. It's pretty fun. You know, absurd is kind of a really good word to describe the whole of Bayonetta. As if being Bayonetta, the amnesiac Umbra Witch who fights angels with her hair and her 4 guns wasn't enough, Bayonetta is able to shine in each scene with everything she does. She's written as if she never takes any of her battles seriously, and it's all like some sort of game to her. But not in the usual cocky attitude you see across media, but more like...
You've been cheating on me, haven't you? Someone else caught your eye?
But seriously, the character is genuinely really fun, and I love watching whatever scenario she's placed in. Whenever a fight in a cutscene occurs, or the writers just want to showcase how badass Bayonetta is, it's really cool to watch.
Don't fuck with a witch.
It's also insane to see how strong Bayonetta is sometimes, like damn, she literally hurled a piece of debris at this guy. No wonder she was top tier in Smash 4. Bayonetta doesn't take up the spotlight alone though, as all the side characters are equally as good. One of the characters you see Bayonetta interact with the most is Luca. He's a journalist who follows Bayonetta around because he thinks Bayonetta has killed his father. While I didn't find myself particularly caring for that part of his backstory, he plays off of Bayonetta really well.
Chesh, do you have any idea what prolonged walking in this salty air will do to my hair?
Well, I tend to use some product when I go to the beach.
Despite being constantly attacked by angels all the time, he's able to hold his own really well and he never feels like dead weight. Cereza is a child that follows Bayonetta because she thinks she's her mom, and wow, it's a child character that I actually care about, and they aren't that annoying. I don't have too much to say about Jeanne, but she makes a really good foil to Bayonetta. And Rodon and Enzo, while not appearing much in the main story, never fail to make me laugh whenever they do make an appearance.
I just got held up in the air by some invisible things, and you want an intelligence briefing? It never stops with you!
You keep belly aching like that, and you're liable to wake Eggman from the dead. And I don't think either of you would like that.
Ah!
Even with the game feeling completely unhinged most of the time, the game knows when to let the absurdity take the backseat for some of the more serious moments to play out. As I mentioned before, Bayonetta has amnesia, so naturally she spends the whole game trying to find out about her past. Throughout the game, you're slowly fed more information about her backstory, and while I pretty much knew everything going on because of Smash Brothers, I was still heavily invested in what was going on. Yo, is that Fly Me to the Moon? I can't really talk about music because I don't know anything about it, but god, this game's music slaps so hard. I almost want the enemies to shut up sometimes because I want to hear more of the music in the background. And hey look, they even got the rights to include Fly Me to the Moon, which fits the sort of jazz theme they're going with. Lastly, I want to talk about the game's challenge. The game uses a reward system that goes from stone to... I don't know. I've only ever gotten stone and bronze statues because I'm that bad at the game. I specifically handpicked the footage to show, which made me look like a better player than I was. The game at first felt kind of unforgiving even, and I can't imagine people who aren't too familiar with video games would have a fun time with this one. Though I played on normal mode, so maybe easy or even very easy would have fit me more. There's also a hard mode you unlock when you finish the game, and even more content to unlock afterwards, which I haven't done yet, but I can't imagine going through that after how I did in normal mode. Though the replay value of this game is great, and they even provide cool bonus features like concept art. So, conclusions? Please play Bayonetta. It is such a good game, and not enough people have played it. I think, like me, many people have seen Bayonetta from Smash and thought, oh, that's just a horny game. But no, it really isn't. The gameplay is satisfying, the characters are super fun to watch, and unlike a lot of other games, it's super accessible! It's on Steam, it's on Switch, PS4, Xbox One, it's everywhere. Go play it now. Even if you don't feel like playing it, at least listen to the music. You won't regret it. If you don't do either of those things, then, well...
I will... How do the Americans put it? Oh yes. Bust a cap in yo ass.
Right on, baby. Right on.